Hello, I'm Brian Tracy again. A wise professor was once asked a question, and the question is, what should I do at this particular part of my life? And the professor asked the student, what is your goal? What is your aim? What is it that you are trying to accomplish? If you can tell me what your goal is, I can tell you whether or not you should do this or that to achieve your goal. But it always starts with a goal. So the question you have to ask is, what is your goal as a parent? What is the role of parenting in the first place? And the answer is, in my opinion, is the goal of parenting is to raise children with high levels of self-esteem and self-confidence so they can go out into the world and make a life for themselves without constantly worrying about whether they are safe or secure. You want to raise children who feel wonderful about themselves. And the way that you do it is you practice some of the principles that we teach in this program. One of the principles, of course, is that you tell them that you love them every day. And you constantly treat them as if they were valuable and important people. So, what is necessary for a child to feel truly loved? Number one is the parents must love themselves. Each parent, the mother and the father, must love themselves. You see, if a parent has low self-esteem, they will raise a low self-esteem child. If the parent does not like or love themselves, then they have no love to give away to the child. If the parent is raised in a family where they have been criticized over and over, as I was, then the natural thing is that they will criticize their children. And every time you criticize a child, you lower their self-esteem and self-confidence and make them feel angry and unhappy inside. So first of all, the parents must love each other. We work with parents all over the world, and we encourage the parents to say, continue, I like myself. I like myself. I love myself. I love myself. Because the more the parent loves themselves, the more they love their child. And then they will do exactly the right things to raise children with high self-esteem. The second factor necessary to raise children with self-esteem is the parents must love each other. There is nothing more important for a child than to see their parents loving each other every single day. Then the child grows up with the idea that this is the normal way of living. When they become adults, they will get married, and their idea was that you marry people that you love, and you stay married to them for a long time. Fortunately, my wife and I have always loved each other and had a great relationship, and our children have always seen this, and 3 of my children are now married, and they married young, and they married their childhood sweethearts. They married almost the first person that they met. Some of them were engaged for 10 years before they got married. Because why? Because what they had seen all their life was a long-term, healthy relationship. Now here's the problem. Many parents don't like themselves, and many parents don't like each other in the marriage. Oh, they like the other person, and they get along with the other person, but they don't express very much love. Now, children learn about life by imitation of one or both parents. So what they do is they watch the parents to see how they're supposed to behave when they grow up. If children live in a home where the husband and wife fight, the child is convinced that the reason his mother and father are not happy is because it is something that the child has done. The child is to blame for the unhappiness between the mother and father. Where does the child get this idea? Well, because when the mother and father are fighting, very often they become angry with the child when the child goes past. So the child assumes that it must be my fault that my parents don't get along. The worst thing that happens for a child is when the parents divorce. And the child is convinced that the reason they got divorced was because of the child. So if you ever do get divorced, it's important that you tell your children over and over again that This divorce had nothing to do with the child. The child is not responsible. It's not the child's fault. Other than that, the child will start to feel guilty at a young age, and when they grow up, they'll feel guilty, have low self-esteem, low levels of self-confidence, and they will have problems in their relationships as well. There's all kinds of statistics that show that children that come from broken homes form broken homes and get divorced themselves. So, the parents must love themselves, the parents must love each other, and the parents must love the child. Now you say, well, that sounds quite simple, except that many parents like their children, but they don't love their children. And why is this? It's because the only way that you can learn to love your child is by spending a lot of time with your child. Spending a lot of time with them from the time they are infants until the time they grow up. Always being available to spend time with your children. You see, when you spend time with your children, children feel that they are loved and that they are valued, and as a result, they are valuable and important. If parents become busy or watch television or work on the computer when the children are around, the children come to believe that their parents consider the computer to be more important than they are. And the television is more important than me. And the newspaper, or socializing, or being on the phone is more important than me. And at a very early age, children begin to develop low self-esteem, insecurity, fear of failure, fear of criticism or rejection. With our children, this is what we did. We told them over and over again that you belong to yourself. Is that God sent you to us, and our job is to love you and take care of you until you grow up. But we don't own you. So therefore, we have to treat you like a gift from God. And so we always tell our children how much we love them. We tell them how good they are. We tell them how happy we are to have them. We tell them how proud we are that they are our children. And our children all know that their parents think that they are wonderful people. And this has a wonderful positive impact on their life and their relationships with others. So you cannot change many things, but you can start to work on your own self-esteem by saying to yourself, I like myself, and getting busy with your life. You can work on your relationship by spending more time with the other person, and you can work with the child by spending more time face-to-face with your child, asking questions and listening to the answers. The more time you spend with your child, the more the child will grow up with high levels of self-esteem and self-confidence.